Hello everyone, I'm going to be showing you today how to use the Payeezy gateway with the WordPress plugin in which I created. First off, we're going to go and install the plugin. So what I'm going to do here is actually install a plugin. Uh, the tag that I use that's easiest for me to locate it is E4. That's what it used to be called. Global Gateway E4 is what it used to be called. So it comes up, it's the one here by .lc, me the creator. So we're going to go ahead and install that now. Alright, it looks like it is successful. We're going to go ahead and activate that. Alright, and it is activated. So now we're going to go here and actually go to the landing page, and this is what it looks like. Nothing too fancy, but it does a lot and so much more. Alright, now here it's asking for the payment page ID and the transaction key. And now that's located over on the gateway, so we're going to go ahead and log into that now and get that set up. Alright, so now that we're in, I already created a payment page, so we're going to smooth right on over here. And the one that I like to use when I'm testing and doing everything else is this top one right here. So you see the payment page ID. I'm actually going to grab it from a different location. So like right here, I like to just copy it from here. So I'm copying that. We'll go ahead and paste that in there. And the transaction key, you can actually get that from the hash calculator, or there's another tab here, or the security tab. We can get it from. But since we're here, we're just going to go ahead and copy this and paste it in here. So now that that's set, now we just want to select the fields that we want displayed to our customer. So some people like the first and last name, so we're going to ask for that. We want to ask for their billing address, and we also want to ask for their telephone number, email address. Now the invoice number, that's actually an optional field. You can, instead of them actually entering an invoice number, you can change the field name to I'm looking for this information and populate that, or the PO number. Now you can do the same thing with the invoice number with the nameable fields. That's just displayed to your customer, and that information goes to the gateway and comes back. It's only good for emailing purposes. Now here, if you wanted to show your logo on the payment page at like the little header, you have that option. You also have the option to select a description or comments for your customer to put in more information regarding their order or their donation, etc. So, well, what I really would like to point out here is the reoccurring fills. This improved a lot. Now, here it gives you so many different options that you can select. Now, for each option that you select, you need to paste in a payment page. I mean, sorry, not a payment page. What is it called? A recurring ID. That's what it's called. So now I already have my plans created, but I'm going to show you briefly on how this works. Now, for instance, let's say if you have multiple options, you do have the option for your customers to do whatever it is that you need to do. For example, like I want my customers to select monthly or bi-weekly, and then we can also do annually. So as you notice here, it's asking for that information. So now I'm going to go back over to the gateway. We're going to go over to the recurring tab. And as you see, I already have my plans created. So for the once, I'm going to click into the once. And right here, will actually give me my payment, my recurring billing ID. So we copy that. And then we're going to go over here. Which one was that? That was once. I'm sorry. I didn't want to do that one. So let's see here. So bi-weekly is what I'm looking for. We're going to select bi-weekly. We go ahead and copy the plan information. Go back over to the plugin, bi-weekly, and we're going to go back here, we're going to grab the monthly ID. Copy that. And the last one is going to be yearly. Alright, so now that we have that copy, we're just going to go ahead and paste that in there. Now here, I've made some changes. You can have it set up to automatically bill your customer every month, whatever the dollar amount that they enter for 2 years, or you can have your customer select the start and end date. Now, so for demo purposes, I'm just going to select automatic just to go through it to show you what it does. Uh, and then we're going to change the color to the background of the page so I know we're still testing here. Alright, there we go. Now, the merchant, since I do want a copy of the customer's email receipt, and it also gives you some more information regarding the transaction. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here, I'm going to go ahead and put in an email address that I want it to go to. All right. Now, if you wanted to add more email addresses in this field, you just separate it with a comma and you enter the next email address and then followed by another comma, etc. I've tested this and it so far works with up to 3 or 4 email addresses that you would want it to go to. I haven't tried any more than the 3 or 4 that I wanted it to go to. All right. Now we can select auto submit payment. If you didn't select it, it would already select it for you. Since we're testing, we're going into the demo environment since this is the demo site here. And we always want to do it as a purchase or sale. I don't really care too much for pre-authorization. A pre-authorization would be if you wanted to pre-authorize up to a certain dollar amount and then you signing into the gateway and then processing the transaction. Me personally, I wouldn't recommend that. It's best to get it done in one shot. Now, it's always going to be in US dollars, and we're just going to go ahead and generate here. All right. Even though you see it blinked it out, it actually did accept that information. It's telling us that the HTML code was generated successfully and to use the short code. With the short code, with WordPress prior, when I was creating the HTML, the table data was always getting corrupt when you would view it visually. So now I fixed that by using the short code. So now what we want to do, we're going to go ahead and create a page, or you can do a post, vice versa. It really doesn't matter. And we're going to name this test. Actually, we don't even need to do that since I've created a new tab here in the update, in a 2.0 update. You can actually select see current HTML, and what that's going to do, it actually shows you exactly what the code looks like before it goes live. So you can actually test it here before you put it on any page. To me, this was a huge benefit, at least for my customers and the people that I was using this for. So we're just going to go ahead and plug in some information just to test and make sure everything still works. Okay, and the email address. So I should be getting 2. And since I do want to test the reoccurring, just to show you what it looks like after we selected the 3 options, we're going to go ahead and select yes. And as you see here, it gives us the options to select the 3 options that we entered prior. So we have bi-weekly, monthly, and annually. So we're going to select monthly, and then the reoccurring amount, we can make that for testing purposes. We're just going to do $50. And then here, we're going to enter. It can be a dollar, it can be a penny. We just need to process a transaction. So this one, I'm actually doing $100, and I'm gonna submit. So it's processing. All right. So here, I know I shouldn't have picked this color, but it's kind of bright. Now here it shows us that the $100 did go through. Well, it didn't go through. It's just giving us a breakdown of the order, and then it shows us the subscription here. So now I can go ahead and enter my card information. All right, and then the expiration date, and then the security code. All right, so we're going to go ahead and process that transaction. All right, this is just letting me know that it's going back to a page that I kind of had configured, but I don't anymore. So now on the gateway side, sorry, let's go all the way back here. Now on the gateway side, we're going to go right into transactions once the transaction has been completed. And you see here it went through, it was successfully done. $100, and then it tells you which payment page it came from. As you see here, this is the payment page ID that it came from. We can void the transaction, we can return it, or we can start a new transaction. I always, if for testing purposes, if you're looking to test a plugin, I would always select void. You don't get charge additional fees like if you used to do a return. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to void this transaction here. All right, let's void it. Now, once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead over to the reoccurring. With the reoccurring, we process a transaction for $50. I believe we made that monthly. Yes, it was monthly. So we're going to just go right into the monthly. Sometimes it may not show up immediately, but it does show up. Okay, so this is the transaction that we actually processed. It did come through successfully. And if you notice here, this is the correct date as which it should start. May 4th, 2016, and then it's going to end May 4th, 2018. So it gives you that 2 years just to show you that it worked here. Because you never want to start the reoccurring on the day of the transaction. What that actually does, it charges your customers twice. So on top of the initial transaction for the $100 that we processed today, it would charge them an additional 50, and you don't want to do that because then you would have to return the overage that you would charge them, etc. So the way we have it set up here is what we really want to do here. So now that that's all set up and done, let's go ahead and play with this a little bit more just to test some more stuff out here. So we're going back to the Payeezy gateway. Okay, so now that that's loaded, we can also now we can upload files. I made that available now for you to upload files to the gateway here. Sorry, to the plugin. So you have that option. I also created a backup button, which some of my clients did request it, and I went ahead and enabled that for everyone. It comes in a new 2.0 update. So let's go ahead and we're going to play with this a little bit more. So now I just want the first name, last name, phone number, invoice number. Let's do reoccurring billing. And next time we're actually going to select start and end just to show you what it looks like if you was to select that. Now I still want to do bi-weekly, I still want to do monthly, and then have that annual option just because, just for testing purposes. Okay. And most people typically always want the billing address because that helps reduce fraud when it comes to verifying the transaction on the gateway side. Okay. And here's the email address. All right, and an invoice number, we can do invoice number. Again, we can use these optional fields here. It, like I said, it goes to the gateway and comes back, and everything that sends to the gateway comes back. Okay. Let's this time let's change this color to something less blinding on the eyes. So I'm just going to go with that there. Make sure that still populates. We're still testing. We're going to go ahead and select generate again. Alright, so it is generated. We can go over to current HTML. Alright, so now we're just going to go ahead and again test this out before you put it on any of your pages or posts. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through this again. Okay, and the invoice number, we can make this actually whatever it is we want. So if you really wanted to, you can actually change the invoice number field, not the field, but you can change this to house number or client ID. You can change this any way you want. So right now, for testing purposes, I'm just going to put in numbers. And we're going to do a reoccurring again, and this time it actually gives us a start and end date for your customer to select. Again, I would always make your customer aware to say, hey, do not select today as being a start date for this reoccurring transaction. You always want it a month ahead or a week ahead, depending on what they're selecting, if it's weekly, bi-weekly, etc. Alright, so this one I want to start on the 29th, and I want it to end on 29th, 2028. And we're going to make this one annually. And this amount, we're going to do $40. And in here, we're going to process another $100 transaction. Well, actually $1,000. I'm feeling pretty generous. Alright, go ahead, allow that to process. Alright, so here, once again, I'm going to go ahead and enter my card information. And if you notice, the email address that I put in on the prior form actually came through here, so they don't have to re-enter it again. I'm going to go ahead and select pay with card. Alright, so that transaction is complete. So we're going to go back over to the site. And now we're going to go back into the gateway. Now this one should have went in reoccurring. So first I just want to make sure the transaction came through as it said. Alright, and it does look like it came through for $1,000. Again, here's this is the invoice number. It shows under reference number, so it always gives you that option to view it in the gateway as well as the confirmation email that you receive. Alright, so now that we checked that, we're going to go ahead and go back over to recurring, and we're going to go over to annual. As you can see, the $40 is basically there. Alright, here's the reference number that was used. Here's the start date, which I selected as April 29, 2016, and this is when it's going to end. So at any time you can actually go in. If you needed to suspend it, you have that option as well, and then you can just suspend it and reactivate it. I mean, I don't know in what instance you would do that unless someone says, hey, I can't make the payment for this month, can you suspend it, or I give you cash, or vice versa, or do a different transaction. You have a lot of flexibility here in the reoccurring tab. Alright, so we're done with that. I'm gonna just leave that one and let it be. Alright, so now I want to show you the backup feature. Alright, and how the backup feature works, we're just going to make backup of plugin, and what this does is zips everything that's in the plugin folder for this plugin and zips it up. So you have the option to actually download it. So once you download it, you go ahead and select OK, and it's downloaded. Once the download is complete, you want to go ahead and let the time run out to remove the backup from the server so no one else has access to that file, only you do. Alright, and it says plug in the zip. This is the name of the zip that you just downloaded. has been removed from the server, which is great. And you get to watch a little guy be amused on how his computer disappears. Don't worry, but everything still works here. Your site still works as normal. Alright, so here is basically what the file looks like. And this is all it is. It zips everything up, so you have that. So in the event of another update, or if you wanted to make changes, you have that ability to do it here. Or if you was trying to send it to me to assist with something, sending me this would actually help out a lot to see where the issue is. All right, and then another option that I kind of added in there for you, let's say if you wanted to actually edit the HTML that shows up on the page here. So for example, like invoice number. Please note, do not make any changes here. Select edit file, which is correct. You don't want to make any changes here. It's not going to save. Alright, so now what we're going to do, I actually want to change the invoice number field. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and select edit file. Alright, and now that we're here, we want to scroll down and find the invoice number field. So right here it says invoice number, and I want this to say booking date. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and select update. Alright, it looks like it is updated. So now we're going to go back to current HTML, and what that's going to allow us, again, it's going to show us the current code, which as you see here, it updated, and again, it'll pass over to the gateway, and you'll see it in your confirmation email. Let me know if this helped you set up your plugin. If you have any suggestions, any modifications. I guess one last thing I can show you is what the file upload looks like. So what I'm gonna do here, let's see. All right, so we are going to go here just to test it, and we want to select the current HTML. So if you had like another HTML file that you kind of wanted to use strictly custom, or if I sent you something strictly custom to your site, here's where you would upload it. You're going to go ahead and select upload. Okay, it says the file was uploaded successfully, the current PHP, etc. So now on your server side, which I can pull up here, now on your server, this is where it would land you. This would be your landing page for the server. And we're going to go into WordPress content, WordPress plugins, and we're actually going to go right into the gateway. So here, as you see, it created a custom folder, and in that custom folder, it actually has the current HTML. And this is currently what we have selected. So you have that availability to upload files. And what sense you would use it, I'm not sure, but you have that ability, and then the reference the file. So let me know, once again, if this helps you set up your global gateway E4 or Payeezy gateway to link right into your WordPress site. Let me know if this helps.